Hey guys, I'm joined by Gaten Matarazzo, who you all know from Stranger Things. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So I finally got your name right. A lot of people mess it up.
A lot of people do.
Okay, so the trick is Raz like raspberry.
Yeah, Raz like raspberry.
Okay, so everyone knows you from Stranger Things, of course. You guys are gearing up for season 3. Congrats, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Your character, Dustin. When you first started at the very beginning, did you ever think it would be such a huge success?
No way. No way. It was like a low budget, tiny little thing that nobody knew about. Nobody cared about it. And like it didn't, like our first premiere, there were like 3 people like with cameras on like a tiny carpet that was probably as big as this room here. And like the only thing they asked was like, how's Winona? I'm like, she's good. They're like, okay, bye. I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. Bye. That's all they asked us. It was tiny, so I mean, I'm glad that it's been as successful as it is.
Yeah, it's come very far. Of course, it's everyone's favorite binge-worthy show. So, it takes place in the '80s, which was before you were born.
What? I'm 47.
Oh yeah, you're 47. What's the coolest thing you've learned about that decade, and would you want to be a kid in that decade?
I like where I am now because I mean, like watching Back to the Future, I don't want to mess anything up. Like I'm not going back in time, but it's cool. I mean, there's really not all that much that's really different. Of course, technology's changed, and I think what's really changed is really the mentality of family. Like now, it's like you're not allowed to go past the street where I can't see you, and back then they would ride their bikes and go who knows where, and that's really what's changed completely.
More of that freedom kind of
Yeah, more of that freedom. But now people have freedom on their phones and can just look up anything. It's scary.
It is scary. Okay, so Dustin, he's a kid in the '80s. What do you think he would be like as an adult today in 2018?
I think he would be a software developer or something like that. And he would definitely work with computers, I think. Or maybe something like a little bit more like exciting. Like, I feel like he'd travel for work. Like he'd come back and like, I was just in Japan. Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, just killing
Working with computers, like something like that, you know?
So you've been really outspoken about a rare condition you have that your character Dustin also shares called CCD.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is and why it's important for you to kind of be outspoken about it.
Sure. Well, CCD is short for Cleidorcranial Dysplasia, and it's a genetic bone condition that affects pretty much every bone in your body if you have it. Primarily the collarbones and the jaw, which affects facial growth and skull growth and everything, and that's why my teeth are all messed up. And it affects my knees as well, like my legs. I go out that way for some reason. It's odd. But I was actually born without my collarbones. I only have a tiny little piece of one on this side, and that's why I'm able to bring my shoulders in together. I can...
Whoa,
I'm
okay.
able to do that there.
Very flexible.
I've got no collarbones there. So I was born without that. But I think it's important because I have a very mild case of it, and most people who are familiar with it would not know that I have it.
Right.
A lot of people have it a lot harder than I do. A lot of people have to wear, especially when they're younger, a lot of people have to wear full-on braces on their body to keep their backs up straight when they're younger so they don't slouch over, and they have to work with their posture. And a lot of people have it a lot worse when it comes to dental work because most dentists aren't familiar with the condition, and they'll just start ripping out teeth and being like, yeah, they'll come in on their own. That's what they said to me. That's why those teeth there, I got those extracted when I was about 11 years old, and I'm 15 now, and they haven't grown in, and they're finally getting pulled down with this appliance that I put in. And I'm finally getting everything fixed. Everyone that I'm working with is very familiar with it, and we're ready, we're prepared. But a lot of people aren't so fortunate. A lot of people still don't even know that they have it, some people who have it. And
well, it's great you're bringing awareness to it. And, and I read that you actually got turned down from a lot of roles because of this, and now here you are kind of
thriving off of it. Yeah, it's really what... it might have been one of the sellers that gave me the role in the first place, because, I mean, they want the characters to be relatable, yes, but they want them to be unique, of course, and realistic. And the minute I told them I had this condition, they're like, okay, cool, he's got it too. I'm like, what? Like, Dustin has it too? I'm like, okay, cool.
That's
and they put it in there. Didn't really think much of it. They weren't trying to do anything super extravagant or be like, hey, we're doing this because like we support. Like, they just like, okay, that sounds cool. We'll put that in there.
That's cool that
that was the mentality.
So open about it.
Yeah,
so it kind of piggybacking on that, this viral tweet I want to bring up, you recently did with Millie Bobby Brown. A boy hosted a Stranger Things party. No one came. You and Millie tweeted that you both would have been there and you would have gone next year.
Yeah.
Which, how do you stand up to bullies? And do you think Stranger Things has kind of done a good job of celebrating kids who want to embrace just being themselves?
Yeah, I think that Stranger Things has definitely helped kids kind of get out of their shells, especially because it's kid actors in lead roles in a non-kid show, which I think is really what's really important about our show. A lot of people have come up to me like, "Hey, the kids seem to like it." I'm like, "Have you seen it?" They're like, "No." Then they watch it and they tell me, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize that it was
not really a kid show."
Not a kid show. And that's why it actually got turned down from a lot of networks, because they're like, if it's starring kids, we want a kid show, and they didn't want that. They wanted it to be taken seriously. And so that's really cool. Kids can kind of look up and see someone to take seriously. And also, I feel like my condition has helped kids come out of their shell, say, "Hey, this kid's different," or I guess, or "This kid got something going on there. I mean, he seems to be doing all right." And I am. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying everything, and I'm just glad that people are able to kind of open up after watching our show. And the way I stand up to bullies, I mean, thankfully, I've had very close friends, and I've had people that are like my family in my life, and I really don't need to worry about bullies anymore, especially. But back when I was younger, I would tell kids about my condition, and they'd say I was lying, just making an excuse that I had messed up teeth, and they're like, "You're making an excuse because you have an ugly mouth." I'm just like, "No, I got a condition." And I remember my mom telling me a story. She said that one of the parents of one of the kids had come up to her and said, "Your son's telling lies to my children." It's like, "What?" It's like, saying that he doesn't have collarbones. Mom's like, "Yeah, he doesn't." And they're like apologizing. It's like, what? Come on now, really?
That's insane, first of all. Okay, so talking about you're embracing everything, you're so busy, you're doing so many other things. I want to talk about, you're in a band called Work in Progress, which I don't know how you find the time. And
I don't either, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, this is crazy. You're actually performing at the Troubadour, which is a iconic
legendary.
place.
I'm gonna turn off my phone. It is buzzing like crazy.
Okay, well, so you're performing April 13th, which is right around the corner. What kind of music does your band play?
Rock, just all rock. We do classic, modern. Even our rhythm guitarist is a metal fan. I haven't really been like into it just because it's not too great on the vocal cords for a lead singer to do metal.
So you're the lead singer?
Well, I'm a co-lead singer. Me and my sister both are the lead singers. We need a low voice and a high voice. Kind of helps out. One person always to do harmonies, and we don't like having like a backup singer because we like anyone who's singing in the band to make sure they always have the spotlight. Everybody sings in our band, actually.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's me and my sister. We're the lead singers. Then you have Chad Miller, he's our rhythm guitarist. Griffin Shriver, he's our lead guitarist. Matt Grayson, he's our bassist. And my younger brother, Carmen, he's our drummer.
Well, that is so exciting. And if everyone wants to find out more, they can go to the Troubadour to get tickets?
Yeah, they can go to ticketfly.com to get tickets for our 2 shows there. We got 2 shows on Friday, actually. One at 3:30 in the afternoon and one at 8 o'clock at night.
Well, Gaten, I don't know where you find time, but that's so exciting. And we're all so excited for season 3 of Stranger Things as well. So thanks again for sitting down and hanging out.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, cool. We're going to go back over to everybody in New York. Bye.